Welcome to the Code of Entry podcast, where we cloud the issues with facts and help you upskill to stay on the digital edge. Here's your host, Greg, with the latest.
Hey team, Greg here with Code of Entry, and welcome to podcast number 1. So today, what are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to start talking a little bit about search engine optimization, and then I'll go through a little rant about why not to believe everything that you see online. But first, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Code of Entry, what you can expect from the podcast in case this is your first episode and you're starting with number 1, or you just wanted to learn more about us and you were listening to one of the later episodes and you wanted to get insight into our motivation. So, Code of Entry, we're a team of IT professionals that kind of banded together after we had these common experiences where we were struggling, spending hours upon hour, really looking into the IT space, trying to stay relevant, right? Everything's changing all the time, constantly evolving. How do you find the resources you need to upskill? How do you stay relevant, right? The technology that I'm an expert on today is not going to be the same technology that's valuable tomorrow. So as we were going through in the space and trying to continue to learn, there's always a meeting that we'll have with somebody or a vendor engagement we'll have where somebody will be like, well, but have you heard of this new thing? And we'll be like, actually, no, I haven't. So our motivation here is, hey, let's cover topics that we think are interesting. Let's talk about a breadth of IT topics and help people get to that kind of Google level of expertise so you know what to look for, right? You don't know what you don't know. So it's really valuable to have an introduction to technologies so that you can learn more about them, figure out how to install the tools, play with them, and graduate to a higher level of understanding, because you don't have to be a master at everything, but you at least need to know what's out there so that you can know what you want to master, right? So it's like, we can go through a litany of tools, right? Whether we're talking about Docker or Kubernetes or Nginx web servers or iOS applications or authenticates Silo cloud browser or any number of things, right? So there's a ton of stuff out there. How do you kind of sort through it, figure out what you need, and stay relevant for your organization, or get a job at a new organization, right? So we're really trying to cover the gambit here of, hey, I'm a beginner and I want to get into this space. What should I concentrate on? I'm already in this space. What can I do to stay relevant? Or, hey, I'm a leader in this space. What do I need to know to make the best decisions? So that's really what we're here to try to do. So our team's made up of a few different professionals. I kind of drew the short straw and became the face of Code of Entry. If you're listening to the podcast, I swear I'm a 10 out of 10. If you're watching me on the video right now, I apologize because that's not the truth. But hey, it is what it is. So we're gonna have conversations here, have fun, hopefully learn something. So the format of the podcast, we're going to have some one-on-one sessions like this where I'm just talking to you about topics I think are interesting. We'll bring on some guests, either audio or video, to talk about good tech topics. We've already got some folks lined up to talk about cybersecurity tools that you should be using in your daily life, like a cloud browser that most people aren't, or some basics like a VPN that a lot of people already are using. Or we'll just talk about, hey, what are the fundamentals of making a website? What are some web design fundamentals? What are some tools that I should be using? And also talk to some cloud engineers. Cloud is all the rage. It's not a new thing in 2020, right? It's been around for years now, but there's still a lot of misunderstandings. Hey, how do I understand the cloud? How do I move to the cloud? What certifications are most valuable? We're going to bring in some industry experts and have that conversation with them. Plan on asking some pretty standard questions every time, like, hey, professional X, you're in a pretty particular field. If you had to go learn one new skill tomorrow, what would it be? And if you wanted to get into this space, what should somebody do? So that's really what we're going to try to do. So hold on and we'll get into search engine optimization.
We just wanted to say thanks for listening and remind you to follow, like, and subscribe to Code of Entry on all your favorite channels. We appreciate having you on the team and any help reaching out to others. Always remember, we're here to help you, providing cutting-edge digital insights into this ever-changing industry. Now back to the show.
So I wanted to cover a topic in episode 1. I didn't want this to just be all about Code of Entry, all about Greg, drone on and on. What's something valuable that we can talk about? Well, how about we talk about search engine optimization? It's something that changes all the time. all the digital marketers out there, they're trying to sell their services. If you have a website, you're an online business, you're anybody that wants your page to be found online, you care about search engine optimization. But the secret to search engine optimization is there's no secret. It's crazy, right? So the problem with search engine optimization is a lot of people are trying to find shortcuts. Well, Google, what they're trying to do is find valuable websites that answer the questions that people are asking and give those to people. So you're going to have a hard time ranking in Google if you don't have a valuable website. If you're trying to kind of game the system and get rankings with shortcuts, then you are going to have a hard time. And Google's always changing their algorithm, but it's crazy, right? Say that you go to a search engine, you go to Google, and you're like, hey, how do I do X? How do I find Y? Well, if there's a page that answers your question and you click on it, you're going to be super happy, right? Well, it's the same thing with your website for your business, with your website for your effort, or if you're working on something for a client. So what you need to do is figure out, hey, what's the value proposition of the site? We have a few clients that we've been working with where it actually speaks really well to some of the small family-owned businesses, because it's like, hey, the internet's not secret, right? You have a website. First, you just have to remember your website's not for you, it's for your customers. It's not just a thin billboard, and we're not going to go be able to pay for a bunch of people to point back to us and then all of a sudden Google loves us. We want to inform our population, make them more educated buyers, and that'll increase their trust in us. It increases our authority, and the chances are that maybe Google will send them to us to answer their question, and then they can buy from us, right? So then, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, let's think about locations. It's a great way to rank better because you're going to answer a question somebody has in the area that they have it. So say that I'm looking for an underwater basket weaving class. Always a great example because I don't think that exists, right? But I'm looking for an underwater basket weaving class in Portsmouth, Virginia. Well, if I put in underwater basket weaving and hit enter in Google, it's going to show me results around my area if I happen to be there, and it's going to give me pages that answer the question for underwater basket weaving in Portsmouth, Virginia. So what if I created a page on my website for that service in that location? That's exactly what the person's looking for. It's going to be a lot easier to rank. And then when we're talking about locals, right, there are a lot of key terms that you're never going to rank for if you're trying to compete with Walmart or Google or Amazon. I mean, there's just no way, right? Hey, guess what? If Lowe's is selling the product that you're selling and there's just one word in the name, you're probably not going to beat Lowe's. Not in a national search, but locally you've got a huge chance for that, right? So let's pick a particular product, right? Let's say we're Googling wrenches. Well, say that I want to find a wrench. When I hit enter, I'm going to get that Google 3-pack for my local area. And again, if I'm selling wrenches, let me make a wrench. Let me have a page for each type of wrench that I sell. Let me have a page for each place that I sell that wrench, so that if you're, again, in Portsmouth, Virginia, and you're looking for a 7/16 socket wrench, then hey, that 7/16 socket wrench in Portsmouth, Virginia, like, I've got exactly what you're looking for. It's funny, right? Provide value to your customer, have great customer service, have the products that they're looking for. It sounds a lot like traditional marketing, right? And you have a great chance of ranking on Google for that. So, really another one of these kind of unsolicited shout outs I'll give, because that's what Code of Entry is all going to be out. There's a great marketing book that I wish I got a commission for, right? It's They Ask, You Answer. It is a awesome book because basically what it talks about is this value proposition of, hey, when your customers ask a question, just provide the answer they want. The more answers you provide, the more authority you're going to have, the more backlinks you'll get from other people telling your story, the more sales you're going to get, the better search engine ranking you're going to have, the more marketing materials you're going to have prepared for your salespeople. Because when someone asks a question, guess what? You might already have an article for that, or you might already have a video for that, and you can just share it, right? So again, provide value, answer the questions that people are asking. Don't try to game the system, and you'll actually do really well in Google. So the secret is that there's not a secret. It's about doing the right thing and providing value to customers. I know it sounds crazy that it's that simple, but it is. The last thing, or I guess two next things, it's really about kind of the link structure and pay-per-click versus organic SEO. So I'm not a big pay-per-click proponent a lot of times. I think it's a great way to start. It can be the icing on the cake, but you should have this kind of trend where you're going to rank for organic keywords, and if you're going to move into an industry or you want to try to get to an area that's a little too competitive for you, you can supplement with pay-per-click, but you really want organic. And I liken it to the difference between going to the grocery store and buying your vegetables or having a garden, right? So if I want to eat today, I can go and I can buy my vegetables at the market, but tomorrow I'm going to have to go buy my vegetables at the market. And the next day I'm going to have to go buy my vegetables at the market. Where if I want to eat today, but I decide that I know I'm going to need to have more traffic, right? I'm going to need to continue to have food. I can buy today, I can do my pay-per-click, but I can also plant seeds to have my own garden so I can get ready for search engine optimization so that eventually, hopefully sooner than later, I don't have to keep paying for pay-per-click unless I want to, right? So I can plant my garden, I can plant the seeds, I can nurture them, I can let them grow, and then I can start to harvest that. And then if I want to go to the grocery store, I don't have to buy the same vegetables I've been buying, right? I can supplement, I can try new things, right? I can go after different things, and I have a sustained base where I am for my garden, and I'm not having to pay for that over and over again, right? So it's just one of those things, right? It's like, are you going to go continue to buy your food, or are you going to learn to fish? So I think that's really why we push organic search at Code of Entry. The other thing is, you talk about backlinks and landing pages. I really look at it like a spider web, right? If you all have like one type of link, you got this core out there, and you're hanging from one thread, right? First of all, if you don't have any links back to your site, you're not hanging anywhere. So we have to have some links, right? You have to have somebody else that's pointing to your page and says, hey, this is valuable. So we get at least one link, so then we're here and we've got a string hanging in, and okay, great. Well, then we want 2, then we want 3, then we want 4, and that's fine because now we have this epicenter and we've got some links coming in from all sides. We have a better catch radius, right? Think about that. So you have this like your site that people can land on and some funnels bringing people back in. Well, what about these landing pages? Well, what they do is they allow you to continue to grow your web, right? So now I don't have just one point that can catch. I have points all around the circle that can catch and feed things to my center. So now I have less and less air that makes up my web. So we make those landing pages, and now instead of just links that come back to our central page, we have links that come out to those external pages. So as we continue to build out our web, we have a better chance of catching traffic, and the more traffic we catch, the better chance we have of funneling those down into sales, right? Because this is a sales funnel concept where people have to know what I exist in order to make sales. I can't evaluate how good your site is. We can't evaluate your sales funnel. Like, does your site convert? Well, if you don't have any leads at all, I don't know. So we have to start to get visitors, and then once you start getting visitors, you can do A and B testing. You can figure out what works. You can start to evaluate your sales funnel to see, hey, does my site work? Everybody's leaving when they get to my site. Well, we've got significant changes we need to make. You can do some of that stuff when you review a site, right? Like we can use some more tools. We can use other tools like Attention Insight or something. We can look and see, hey, what are people going to see on this screen? What's your clarity score? What's the readability of your text? Do you have call to actions? We can do all of that stuff. But once you start getting people to your site, we can see what converts. We can start doing A and B testing. It's a lot easier, but you have to have traffic. It starts with traffic. And how do you get traffic? You start getting backlinks. How do you get backlinks? Let's answer people's questions. Let's provide good content, and it'll naturally grow from there. There's link building strategies that you can do. I will say kind of pretty adamantly, don't pay for directory links as your only source of links, right? That can be a link that you have, but it's not going to give you the authority you want, and you're going to spend a lot of money. And there's some research that looks like you might get penalized for it, but that makes sense, right? If you're out there and you have a website and you're paying people to link back to you, well, are you gaming the system, right? Or are you organically growing your authority because of your content? You can ask people for links, but it should be based off your content. It should be based off your value, not, hey, I went to an outsourcing website and I paid somebody $100 for a link. Probably not the intent of what Google has, right? And that's that secret decoder. What's Google's intent? It's answering the questions that people ask. Because if you answer those questions and you do it effectively, then more people will use Google. And Google's proven that they can answer your questions when you search, right? That's why you don't go to Bing. That's why you don't go to Yahoo, because you're going to get what you want when you go to Google. And if you're going to go to Google, then Google can get people to click on ads, and that's how they make money, right? So they want to answer your question so that you continue to come and use their services. So just a little bit there about search engine optimization. It's not magic. A little bit about pay-per-click, backlinks. We have some services that help with all those things at Code of Entry. But, there's a lot of resources out there that you can learn it for yourself, or we're happy to teach you as we continue our online advice blog or in the podcast to come. So really that's, hey, topic number 1, podcast number 1, search engine optimization, good to go. So every one of my podcasts is going to have some rant because I have a lot of soapboxes to get on. And rant number 1, hey, just because it's on social media doesn't mean it's true. In fact, it probably isn't. So there are a lot of pages on social media that are troll farms for a lot of people trying to push their own agenda. So if you notice right now, right, if we were to compare, this isn't social media, but CNN to Fox News, right? Both written from somebody with a completely different perspective on the same facts. And unfortunately now it's really hard to find just the facts, right? Like an article that just tells you direct reporting on what the facts were and allow you to make your own opinions. There are a lot of opinions helping you with your opinion these days. But particularly when you start getting on social media, what you're finding is there's these farms of people that aren't necessarily even affiliated in the U.S. trying to manipulate our opinions so that they can manipulate our elections. They can manipulate our political climate. They can manipulate our stocks. They can manipulate our currency. They can manipulate a lot of things just by giving us information that's not necessarily true, but that looks true, right? With the emergence of, first and foremost, memes. Memes give you no information and leads you to some assertion. And I would tell you that the majority, over 50%, the majority of memes online are created by people outside of our country to influence our country. Just take that away, right? That's crazy. And then you look at technology, right? These deep fake videos. You can have a deep fake video that looks like me sitting here talking, and I'm saying something I've never said before. Looks like me. Sounds like me, but I could have never said it, right? So technology has come so far that you have to do a little bit of due diligence, right? So not only do we have our media that's biased, we have social media that's other countries trying to manipulate our country. Then you have technologies that allow it to, you can't trust a lot of things that you see and hear. Then we have reporting that happens out there that's not by any verified source. Oh, anonymous person says, great, anonymous person. Well, it's like, hey, with the way technology is going, we have to worry about sources. Sorry. So there's my rant. Technology, great. However, the ways that it can be applied, it's up to your imagination. So there are a lot of things out there that are getting really interesting in the social media world. I'm not sure how it's going to get policed up, but there's rant number 1. So, hey, that wraps us for episode number 1 of the Code of Entry podcast. Hopefully this gives you a feel for me, our team, some of the stuff we're going to talk about. And hey, welcome to the team.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Code of Entry and online at codeofentry.com. Check back for new episodes or join the team by signing up for notifications. Until next time, keep hustling.